Welcome back to Comic Cappers. Today we will be capping Battle Beast has finally reached the surface of his home world, but the crash landing was only the beginning of a final, bloody reckoning with the Juggernaut. With that said, grab a snack, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Battle Beast finds himself swarmed by a pack of savage, multi-eyed predators, their snarling faces filling the panel as they close in. He doesn't hesitate, brandishing a makeshift wooden stake, a far cry from his usual weaponry, and declaring, "This will be a glorious battle." He's clearly looking for any excuse to test his mettle, even in the ruins of his home world. One of the creatures lunges, its jagged teeth bared as it tears into the debris, showing just how desperate and dangerous the wildlife on this desolate planet has become. Battle Beast unleashes a primal roar, meeting the creature's aggression head-on. The hunt is on, and he looks more than ready to shed some blood. Battle Beast is interrupted mid-fight as a slimy, wet tongue lashes out and licks his leg, leaving him demanding, "What is the meaning of this?" Frustrated by the distraction, Battle Beast brandishes his weapon and snaps, "You creatures would deny me my battle. You." He is clearly not interested in anything that gets in the way of his combat. An unseen newcomer intervenes, casually telling the annoyed warrior, "Ho ho whoa. Settle down, creature," while more of that viscous slime drips onto Battle Beast's face. Prince Salaka observes Battle Beast as he grapples with one of the large, yellow creatures, noting the warrior is already making new friends. The creature lets out a low, menacing growl, baring its sharp teeth right in Battle Beast's face. Battle Beast isn't intimidated. He roars right back, asserting his dominance over the beast. The creature lets out a sharp cry of surprise, clearly realizing it picked a fight with the wrong warrior. With the creature subdued, Salaka comments on how well Battle Beast has the situation under control. He notes that these gnarls have grown significantly since he last visited Fantania and suggests they make perfect mounts for their journey to the kingdom. As his suit experiences technical glitches, Salaka admits that if the roles were reversed, he would leave Battle Beast behind to drift into oblivion without a second thought. Battle Beast dismisses the downed computer, showing his usual lack of patience for anything that isn't a direct threat or a worthy opponent. Prince Salaka, clearly more tech-savvy and opportunistic, decides he can salvage the machine's AI by housing it within his own suit's drive space. The AI is stunned by this unexpected act of mercy, asking why Salaka would waste precious memory on it. Salaka explains that for his kind, preserving data is a sacred act, and he's honored to provide a home for the machine's consciousness. Salaka keeps his guard up, though, jokingly, or perhaps not, warning the AI not to hijack his body to attack Battle Beast, since the warrior would just kill them both. The AI simply agrees. With the technical business out of the way, Battle Beast mounts a gnarl and grows impatient, telling Salaka that he's only keeping him alive because he needs a guide to the kingdom. He orders the prince to stop stalling and get moving. Battle Beast and Prince Salaka ride their gnarl mounts through the dense Fantanian wilderness. As they travel, Battle Beast questions Salaka's navigation, only for the prince to admit that while he knows the way, the planet has changed drastically since he was last here. Later, the pair rests by a campfire under the night sky. The travel is clearly wearing on them, and Salaka voices his exhaustion, hoping they are nearing their destination. They continue their trek, crossing through a swampy, overgrown area. The atmosphere is thick with ancient, twisted roots as they press forward. Their progress is interrupted when they stumble upon a new situation in the brush, with a voice calling out for assistance. Battle Beast and Prince Salaka encounter a woman trapped in a brutal, iron-toothed snare. She begs for help, fearing who might have set the trap, but Battle Beast doesn't even break his stride, bluntly dismissing her plea with a cold refusal to offer aid. Salaka is clearly frustrated by the lack of empathy, calling out Battle Beast for his callousness. He reminds the warrior that they aren't in such a desperate rush that they can't spare a moment for someone in need. Battle Beast offers no further debate, simply letting out a low, impatient growl. Battle Beast finally relents and pries open the iron trap, freeing the woman. She's quick to gush with gratitude, but he remains as cold as ever, bluntly telling her he has no interest in her thanks. She doesn't take the hint, leaning in to offer a kiss instead. Battle Beast, clearly uncomfortable, pulls away with a sharp nonsense. Before he can finish his protest, he's blindsided. The woman's demeanor shifts instantly, and the physical toll of her trap takes hold. With a heavy WHUDD, Battle Beast is struck down, crashing to the ground as the woman reveals her true, predatory nature. Prince Salaka watches in horror, letting out a panicked uh-oh as he realizes they've been completely played. The woman looms over the fallen warrior, her face contorted in a wicked grin. She taunts him, promising he'll be unconscious soon and mocking him for ignoring his companion's earlier warnings. Battle Beast lies incapacitated, trapped and staring up from the floor, his vision still swimming from the ambush. The predator leans into view, her grin wide and mocking as she observes her prize. She lets out a cold, sharp greeting. She revels in her victory, pacing through her cluttered, gruesome workshop. She taunts Battle Beast and the struggling Prince Salaka, boasting about how easily they fell for her disguise and declaring that they are now entirely at her mercy. Prince Salaka, still pinned to the floor, tries to reason with his captor, asking what she intends to do. She doesn't mince words, snarling back that she intends to eat him. She looms over her captives, detailing her culinary plan. She dismisses Salaka as a metallic, poorly seasoned appetizer, while eyeing Battle Beast's muscular frame as a much more satisfying main course she intends to salt and dry. Battle Beast, completely unbothered by his predicament, calmly warns his captor that she's making a fatal mistake. She finds his confidence darkly amusing, delighting in the irony of the predator becoming the prey. Battle Beast isn't about to let his story end in a cooking pot, bluntly telling his captor that she's made a grave miscalculation. She ignores the defiance, intent on getting to work, complaining that her hunger won't tolerate any further delays. Prince Salaka, dangling helplessly from her grasp, desperately tries to bargain for his life by revealing his true identity as the Crown Prince of Fantania. The captor scoffs at his pathetic state, demanding he speak quickly before she turns him into a dumpling. Salaka manages to blurt out a frantic explanation, claiming that Battle Beast is here to overthrow the Juggernaut, just as he once defeated the Colossus. Salaka swears his life on the truth of his words, pleading with the creature to recognize that his potential restoration to the throne is no lie. Prince Salaka continues his frantic plea, pointing out that the Temple of Aglor has been a ruin for over 1,000 years. He explains that his current, fragile state is a direct result of being trapped inside the Colossus's belly all that time. The captor pauses, admitting there might be some truth to his story, but she's not interested in history lessons. Her hunger completely overrides any curiosity. She heartlessly tosses Salaka toward the cooking pot, laughing as he begs for his life. Completely unfazed by his terror, she begins seasoning the broth with bizarre ingredients like Eye of Gromp and Luzza flakes, humming to herself as she works. Just as she's about to finish her recipe, a sudden heavy impact hits her from behind, leaving her completely stunned. The captor, still mid-sentence, freezes as she realizes who has just crashed through her door, calling out to her creature, Fido. Battle Beast drops the blade he pulled from the Colossus, and it hits the floor with a loud clang, finally catching the captor's full attention. Prince Salaka, still covered in cooking ingredients, desperately tries to use the weapon's origin to prove his claims about Battle Beast's power. Battle Beast stares down the captor with his usual intensity, his presence confirming the horrific reality of his combat history. Battle Beast's arrival shifts the mood instantly. The captor is more obsessed with his culinary history than the danger he poses, eagerly asking how the Colossus tasted. Battle Beast, ever the professional, dismisses her, reiterating that she remains his enemy. The captor's demeanor shifts from manic curiosity to defensive resentment. She laments her current state, insisting that hunting travelers wasn't her childhood dream, but a tragic fate forced upon her by the ruling brother and sister who displaced her as the realm's great wizard. Prince Salaka, still covered in cooking mess, finally gets a good look at his captor and realizes exactly who she is. Recognition hits the captor too. She identifies the prince, though she can't resist taking a jab at his missing posterior. She reflects on his former appearance with a lingering, slightly bizarre focus on his anatomy. With the initial shock of recognition out of the way, Waggala shifts gears. She begins channeling her magic, promising to restore Prince Salaka to his former royal physique. Salaka is understandably wary, especially given he's still covered in the cooking mess from Waggala's earlier attempt to prep him for dinner. She reassures him that their history as friends overrides her hunger, and that she's going to restore him to his original form. As the magical energy washes over him, Salaka feels the immediate effects of the spell taking hold. He sits in the dark, the magic clearly working as his form begins to shift. He remains in the process of transformation, the magical glow fading as the spell continues its work. Waggala notes that the heavy lifting is finished, but the process isn't quite complete yet. Waggala turns her attention to Battle Beast, realizing that winning over a warrior of his stature requires more than just conversation. She sets her sights on the Colossus's tusk, seeing the potential for a gift that might actually earn his respect. Battle Beast simply stares back, his silence speaking volumes. Waggala explains the tactical advantage of using the tusk. Because these creatures are notoriously difficult to kill due to their regenerative abilities, she plans to forge the material into a weapon specifically designed to end them for good. She begins the intense process, thrusting the tusk into the magical fire of her forge. Waggala channels her arcane energy, the air crackling as she begins to reshape the raw material. With hammer and magic, she starts to break down and mold the massive, durable tusk. She works with relentless precision, pounding the material into a more lethal form. The transformation is nearly complete, as the once simple tusk takes on a sharp, dangerous edge, infused with crackling magical power. Waggala presents her creation, a crackling, golden-hued weapon she calls Drascula, the Forever Blade. She commands Battle Beast to rise and claim his new tool for the coming conflict. Battle Beast looms in the shadows, silhouetted against the glowing energy of the blade as he considers the weapon. He reaches out, his armored hand firmly gripping the hilt. The sheer power of the blade radiates outward. Waggala watches with a sharp, toothy grin, clearly pleased with the result of her handiwork. Battle Beast tests the weight and balance of the weapon. For a warrior who lives for the fight, this gift earns a rare moment of approval. Battle Beast and the wizard Waggala share a bizarre moment of camaraderie. Battle Beast casually mentions that the Colossus's meat was salty, promising to save a piece for Waggala if he manages to kill the Juggernaut. She responds with a polite, if slightly unsettling, wish for his victory. Battle Beast clarifies his true motivation. He isn't looking for a simple win. He craves a worthy death in glorious battle to finally silence the relentless rage burning within him. Waggala is left momentarily speechless, processing the sheer intensity of his desire for his own end. Prince Salaka, now restored to his physical form, flexes his muscles. He expresses deep discomfort with having been powerless while trapped in his suit, relishing the sensation of his own strength returning as they ride off into the sunset. As the pair travels across the desolate landscape, Salaka surveys the horizon. He is struck by the ruin of his home world, lamenting the absence of the cities and sky roads he once knew, and wondering what tragedy befell his people. Battle Beast and Prince Salaka emerge from the tree line to gaze upon the ruins of the Fantanian Grand Palace. The sight of his once proud home, now decaying and overgrown, leaves Salaka shaken as he whispers, "My word, the Grand Palace, what remains of it?" Inside the ruined, skull-strewn halls of the Fantanian Palace, the atmosphere is suffocatingly grim. The Juggernaut's vizier stands amidst the gore, delivering a report to his master. He nervously confirms, "I do fear that is the last of them, my liege." The Juggernaut, unimpressed, simply asks, "Last?" The vizier explains that all insurgents have been defeated and the conflict is officially over. He expects praise for finally securing the Juggernaut's uncontested rule. Instead, the Juggernaut reveals his true, monstrous nature. Having run out of enemies to fight, he has developed a taste for his own people, callously stating that his subjects will now have to volunteer as tribute to his glory. As the realization hits the vizier, the Juggernaut coldly declares, "Starting with you." The vizier can only stammer in terror as his master prepares to make him the next meal. The Juggernaut makes good on his threat, and the palace hall erupts in a spray of blood. The vizier's final moments are cut short by a brutal, visceral sound effect. With his vizier now discarded, the Juggernaut remains hunched over amidst the piles of bones, completely unfazed by the slaughter he's just committed. And that unfortunately concludes our comic cap for today. With the Juggernaut now turning his hunger toward his own people, do you think Battle Beast will see him as a worthy opponent or just another monster to be put down? Let me know your answer in the comments section down below. Be sure to subscribe and press that notification bell for daily comic caps. Until next time, take care, brush your hair, I'll see you when I see you, peace.